Jai Hind everyone. I am Shaurshray Singh, founder of TSOI and host of the Unfiltered Hour. Today with us we have Miss Vandana Saxena ma'am, principal of Learning Path School, a CBSE resource person and a conscious parenting coach. Ma'am has more than 25 years of experience working with children, creating an empowering, holistic and inclusive school system. Ma'am would be talking about the 21st century skills required for parents, while also answering some frequently asked questions to her. We hope this video benefits you as a whole, and if it does, we request you to please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. So let's not waste our time for long and begin the video. If you allow me, we can begin with the podcast.
Yes, we can begin.
So, first of all, thank you, ma'am, for taking out some time for this podcast. Uh, so, first of all, my question will begin. You have been an educator for over 3 decades. What first inspired you to step into the world of education, and how has your journey evolved? Since what I have heard that being educator was never the first choice of an educator itself. This is what I have been listening. What's your opinion about this too?
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you, Shaurya, for having me on this podcast. I'm really happy to be interacting with you and uh, going through my own journey and learning something about your journey as well. So, to take your question forward, teaching was my first priority when I took it up. My mother is a teacher. So she was my inspiration, and since childhood, I did play games about teaching people. I used to organize annual functions in our garage at that time. I always visualized myself to be a teacher, and it was a very natural choice for me to make. And it was initially when I started college, since I was very good with academics, top five throughout my career. This choice was not something that wasn't really, my parents didn't want me to take it up. They wanted me to be an administrator. They wanted me to be a doctor. I did try to be a doctor, but teaching, it was just within me. I don't know how it was revealed to me, but it just came naturally to me. And yes, you are right. There are many people who don't take it up as a first choice, and that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, but that's how it is.
So, ma'am, what is your core philosophy or guiding principle as an educator and a school leader?
It's very simple, actually. It's about empowering children to believe and think that I am enough, and empowering everybody on the team, that is the teachers, the administrators, to believe and think that I am enough.
Okay. So, with AI and technology reshaping education, what future trends do you foresee in the Indian classrooms?
Yes, technology is here to stay. And the future trends that we perceive in the classrooms is that if any of us are working along the rote memory model, it's not going to work. If any of us are following very traditional, old school thought kind of homeworks, you are not going to get children's versions because children are using it. They're using it very young. Teachers are also using it, maybe much slower than the children. So, with AI, we have to rethink the way we engage children in the classrooms. We have to involve them a lot more in critical thinking and creativity, and make sure that we prod their minds to really seek in what is within them. No direct questions.
Exactly. So, ma'am, since we have started this topic or talking on the AI in specific, what problems do you think this AI thing is going to bring in the classroom itself?
Yes, of course, the biggest problem will be that we are going to have children looking more confused because AI can actually spin you in if you don't have a focus and you don't know what you want from it. And we are going to have children who have copied and pasted and produced answers from AI, children who could be compromised in their own, the thought process may not build, because they're not going to apply their minds to several things. And they are going to use AI at a time when their brains are still developing. The brain thinking, critical thinking process, it builds up to the age of 27. That's what science says. So, but children are going to use AI in during the time when their brains are still developing. And we know that brain development comes from connections between neurons. So those neuron correct connections will be of a different kind. Because I'm not saying with the use of AI, there will be no new connections, but they will be very, very different kinds. So yeah, those are the challenges.
So, since what I have seen, I was just going through the articles just before the podcast itself, uh, and I read there somewhere. I think it was the Oracle's article or certainly something, which specifically mentioned that AI is going to be the biggest problem for the educators, as they won't be able to develop the critical thinking. So how do you see that you can work on it? Like in classrooms, we normally see, like from where I was, there is not so much critical thinking happening. It's rather than critical thinking, we see rote learning, reading through the books
Mhm.
and learning as they are. And a
Mm.
person is somehow barred from opening up and using their own creativity. For
Mm.
example, if I go to write an exam in class 6 or 7, and I'm supposed to write a specific answer as it is. I cannot add it in my words or certainly change the meaning of the story. The poem shall be as it was, or certainly it shall not be touched there.
Mm.
So
Mm.
how is Miss Vanna preparing her school or her team to handle this specific problem?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have an answer to that. There are two things to be done here. Uh, we are into a lot of collaborative projects for children. And when we have collaborative group projects for children, there is a certain kind of redefinitions of who would actually be actively, how would the project be taken forward actively. So it's no longer that one person is the leader and will dictate. So it's about co-creating new thoughts, new ideas, and there is no set solution, figuring out the solution yourself. You see, whenever you go for anything that is already set, it'll be on the AI. So if children will use AI, so might as well encourage them to use AI to figure out real world solutions to real world problems. So, for that, expanding the exposure beyond the classroom is another strategy that helps in addition to collaborative projects within the classroom. And there is a lot more that can happen on the pedagogy side. But another thing that really works is that we have to build in children a sense of right and wrong, ethics, because with AI, with the use of AI, many things have become simpler, but it's become even more vital that children's ethics be built right from the beginning. What is right or wrong for them? Because everything is readily available to them just a click away. So, in that moment, which one to click and what to source, what information to look at will be determined by the internal value system of the child. So that internal value system needs to be fed alongside the use of the modern day student-led pedagogies. Yeah.
So you spoke about ethics and morality, ma'am. So, what kind of morality and ethics we are speaking of? For example, in our school, we used to read moral science. So, is it
Mm-hmm.
be a similar thing like that, or it is going to be something else? Like if I talk to you.
Yeah, it is very different. It's not one class during the week moral science lecture. It's not like that. It's something which is embedded in the school curriculum through
Mm-hmm.
practices, modern day practices of socio-emotional learning
Mm-hmm.
and human values education in the form of stories, in the form of songs, poems, in the form of, again, certain school-led projects. In particular, a project which can be led very easily by children is on anti-bullying. So again, we're involving children in solving the real problems
Mm-hmm.
within their own context, but at the same time, through by embedding practices of socio-emotional learning and human values education in the curriculum, we are influencing minds of children so that they begin to, again, I'm saying when they are going to be that click away, in that moment, there would be something fed into their subconscious mind which will help them decide for themselves or seek guidance if they need. So, even the choice to ask for guidance in that moment should be theirs. But it should be a subconscious level, subconscious mind telling them to do so. So, feeding their subconscious mind, and in particular through a program on human values, really helps.
It was very great one, ma'am, and I think it shall be embedded in all the curriculums itself. Ma'am, you have been trained at IIM and completed a course at Harvard Graduate School of
Mhm.
Education. What were some key takeaways from these programs that influenced your educational philosophy?
So, from IIM, I learned how to work through strategy. See, what happens is that when we become principals, we graduate to being a principal from being an excellent teacher in the classroom, right? But it's not as if we have a school leaders program or an MBA for school leaders. So when you're leading big schools or when you're leading teams and you have to drive input into the team and gain an output from them, you need strategy. So IIM Ahmedabad taught me several strategies. Even if we are going in for classroom observations or we are looking at how we can implement things like distributed leadership within schools. So that was my insight from IIM Ahmedabad. And from the course that I did with Harvard Graduate School of Education, I learned about a new curriculum called Teaching for Understanding. So, in that curriculum, I learned about redefining assessments. See, assessments are very different today. And in Harvard Graduate School of Education taught me how we can raise student voice within the classroom
Mhm.
and understand from their behavior and their inputs in the classroom, how, have they understood for understanding or have they understood towards the old traditional rote memory model. So, and also I also understood from there how we can as teachers monitor our own teaching practices within the classroom. So assessment is not just to see how students are performing, but assessment even to understand how the teacher is teaching. Because teaching is a connection, it's a communication between the teacher and the student. And it's kind of abstract.
Mhm.
It's happening between what is being spoken, what is being said through verbal and non-verbal cues, through engaging children in activities. But what actually the child understands within their mind is something which is not actively visible to the teacher. But if we have these new systems of assessments in which we are assessing the child's performance and assessing our own teaching in the classroom, we can change our teaching methods in the classroom. And there's then more effective teaching learning happening in the classroom.
Understood. Ma'am, you have an initiative, parenting in schools, and you have a YouTube channel called Parenting Ki Pathshala, which aims to empower
Mm.
parents. What role should parents ideally play in their children's educational journey? If you have to give it in one sentence, what it would be?
One sentence. Okay. So the parents have to be aware of the latest trends in education
Mhm.
and understanding of children's emotional needs in today's context, and then they can lead their child towards better education.
In today's fast-paced digital world, what do you believe the top three skills, top three 21st century skill a parent should develop?
Mm. Yeah, so I call them new age parents. So
Okay.
just like we just like we have the term new age children, everything is new age. So new age parents have to have, if I look at top three skills,
Mhm.
yes, they have to be aware of socio-emotional learning, and the environment at home or the parenting practice should be led through socio-emotional learning. That is step number one, first thing. So, which means we talk of socio-emotional learning, it means that allowing the child to express emotions, making the child aware of their emotions, being self-aware about yourselves, taking care of yourself, having self-care routines for yourself as a parent to watch out for the burnout, and governing the entire household environment through the similar principles. The second thing, the parents have to be very, very, very digitally aware. In today's context, we cannot just say that हमें तो नहीं पता हमारा बच्चा करता है वो हम ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. Children actually need, without interference, without hovering around them, parents need to be aware of the child's digital footprint, because there's a lot of danger lurking out there. So, just to safeguard your child's interest and safety and make them more secure, you have to be training yourselves to look out for your child's digital footprint. And the third thing that the new age parent must know about how to handle this new kind of mental health crisis that's come up, in particular among the teens of today. So parents have to know how to handle that. And in case it comes up, then they must know how much can they help and what guidance they can seek from outside, from the school counseling cell or from professionals in the space.
So, ma'am, you have worked closely with both parents and educators. What common gaps do you see in modern parents and the educators, and how can it be addressed?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about one gap in particular.
Mhm.
Now, what has happened over a period of time, that instant gratification
Mhm.
is a way of life for everyone. Well,
Okay.
technology in part thrives on the use of technology and the new tools and the new gaming, etc. The social media, everything is about instant gratification. So
Exactly.
that has kind of crept into the parenting styles of parents. And which means that the moment your child asks for something, you say a yes to it. So much so that when you begin to say a no to things which are not correct for the child does not accept it. So that is one gap that I see. And in case the school reaches out to you and the child has been caught doing something which is not safe for himself or herself or even for his peer group, the parents, they start protecting their child because they can't see the tears in their child's eyes at all. So they have started siding up with their children for wrong things. And they go to any extent to save the children from what they call that, from the school, the any kind of discipline that we try to bring among them. They try to save the child from those discipline practices which are actually meant for the betterment of the child. So that's one huge gap. And the result of that is that the resilience amongst children and even amongst parents has really dropped.
This is something I was also aware of since I think I was the head boy of my school itself. So
Okay.
I used to see these complaints continuously coming. Like when a teacher used to call a parent, or certainly
Yeah.
children are involved in different kinds of stuff. Uh, Now my next question is going to be on this.
Yeah.
I would rather share the case in specific. A child was dating someone in the school itself, teenage dating, which has grown somewhat common
Mm-hmm.
in the Indian schools nowadays. So a parent was called, both the parents in specific. The teacher said, "See, it's not exactly not our concern that what your child does, but it is going to hamper him or her in long terms if they continue doing this, and it is going to disturb their studies." I remember the parents started
Mm,
shouting in the principal office itself that how can you
mm,
claim that my child did this, and if he, even if
mm,
he did this, how it concerns you, and it became very gross to see in that specific matter. I saw the
mm,
teacher coming out crying and everything. So it is
mm.
a concern overall. So it was great that you spoke about it, ma'am. Ma'am, now
Yes.
going to the second question
Mm,
of this specific topic. We have seen this teenage dating things coming up in the Indian school in, I think, recent years. Like it is growing very much. So how do you think
mm.
institution and a parent shall treat it? How shall it be handled in specific?
So, the first thing to understand is that why these issues among teenagers have come up. What has been in the past 15 years, there has been a change. What change has brought about this kind of behavior and certain issues which were not there in the past? Well, in the past 15 years, and it has been growing rapidly, the influence of the young mind has been through technology. So no longer the influence on their mind is just barely the parents or the friends around or the local city, but it is a global exposure to every kind of trend, right? So those inputs have been fed into the child's brain, and it has actually impacted their brain development in a way where they begin to see this as a new normal. Now, teenagers have always been very, very curious. They love to experiment, and they are trying to figure out their own identity, and that's why they don't necessarily ever wanted to follow exactly what was told to them by their parents or teachers. So even when it comes to exploring teenage dating,
Mhm.
children have started getting into it much sooner because they're curious and they see it happening in the West. So why not us? So that is the first step for schools and parents to understand that those kind of inputs, that influence is there on the teenager. Now, the second thing is to think of ways about what to do about it. What to do about it. And I believe that conversations with children today have to be very different. So the things which were taboo amongst parents in the past, and as parents, it was felt perhaps the child will figure it out himself or herself. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Shaurya?
yes, yes, you are audible. You are very clearly audible.
Hello?
Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes. So those things, yeah. Yeah. So those things, have to be, the parents have to start engaging with children in conversations about teenage dating, about what kind of sites they visit. I'm saying conversations, not interrogations. So the youth of today hates to be interrogated. As teenagers, they have many things to many personal secrets. And since the exposure is more, even the secrets are much more. But for parents and teachers to have faith in them and guiding them and knowing first the child's perspective in situations which we don't know about, owning up in front of them that, look, we don't know about this, but we want to know, right? And even if you're not comfortable making those conversations with the children, telling them, look, I have not done this before. Like, I haven't spoken about, let's say, dating or even beyond dating. Children are into sexual relationships much younger than they ever were. So it was like, even when it comes to that, if you're not comfortable talking about it, own up to them that, look, I don't know how this works. right? But I want to know. So that's the way to go about it, through conversations which are two-sided. Parents have to, and teachers have to revise their way of reaching a conversation with children, because when we talk from very, very pre-decided notions in our head, then our body language shows that we are being judgmental. And the moment the teenager knows that he or she is being judged, they clam up,
Mhm.
right? So being around children, being available with them, building a bridge, and so that the child can reach out to you and talk to you in case the problem comes up, or at least you are in the same emotional state. Emotional connect between the child is very important.
So, while we say this, how can parents strike a healthy balance between being involved with their child's education, and allowing their independent growth in general?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Shaurya. It's an excellent question, and yeah, so like helicopter parenting is a new term that has come up. So if you tell the parent, like, your child is dating or your child is on using technology, then the parent can say that, look, I mean, why do you care? I know about it. It's fine with me. But it's not okay. It's not okay. So to strike a healthy balance between being engaged in with your child and yet not interfering or hovering around them, I think boundaries have to be defined, and a little bit of uh, understanding about the context of the teenager today and what is influencing the teenager's mind, understanding about that. And then uh, I think if we allow children to make their choices instead of choosing for them, whether it comes to the stream, whether it comes to something that they're interested in, whether they want to go, what food choice they want. Since childhood, if parents continuously encourage children to make their own choices, then we are helping the child build their decision making ability. So if we do that since childhood, then automatically we will also know how the child's mind is kicking, and we will not interfere. See, the moment you say, okay, you have a choice, you've stopped interfering. If we say, no, you have to eat, uh, for example, you have to eat 2 eggs and a toast for breakfast every day, now that is interference. But
Exactly.
saying that, okay, would you like to have 2 eggs in a toast, or would you like to have fruit, or would you like a pizza, or, providing choices for small things in the beginning and helping them then later on decide what are the hobbies that they would like to pursue. Engaging in the child's journey of selecting the hobby that they would like to pursue is a very good way, which is a balanced approach. Then going out with children to outdoor spaces, automatically nature has something which balances energies.
Mhm.
That is another way of balancing your child's, academic and your own parenting journey. You can balance it out very easily, because all these things bring about better connection in children and the child. So that's the way forward.
Ma'am, you often speak about conscious parenting. Could you explain what it means and how can parents practice it in their daily life?
What is that? I missed the question. What was that?
Uh,
Say that again, please.
You often speak about conscious parenting. Could you explain what it means,
Hmm.
how a parent can practice it in their daily life?
So conscious parenting is about mindful parenting.
Mhm.
It's about uh, it's about being aware of your own emotion, intent, your own style of parenting your child. Where are you exercising the traditional, old school way of parenting your child, and where are you bringing in more modern techniques?
Mhm.
Being aware of all that, and then bringing in similar kind of self-awareness in your child. Now, there are some very, very traditional, age-old methods of stepping up, which are even supported by science today, of stepping up the awareness and self-awareness amongst people, whether it's your child or yourself. So these techniques are something like, if you begin the day with a prayer, if you have a ritual, you have to set up rituals at home
Mhm.
where your presence is there with each other, but you may not necessarily be talking. If it works for you to sit down and listen to music, that's great. If it works, sit down and be involved in creative activities,
Mhm.
that's great. If it works to sit down and read to each other or together, it works. Any kind of activities which we can bring in our daily routine where we are able to access the subconscious mind of the child and your own mind at the same time works wonders. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that I can offer a set routine. It depends on the household,
Mhm.
but understanding about what influences our subconscious mind is rather important in building these routines.
Mhm. So, ma'am,
Mhm.
what role do empathy and active listening play in building stronger parent-child relationship in today's world?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Again, I'm going to first talk about active listening.
Mhm.
That's one skill I think new age parents must have. I would like to add to the list I spoke about earlier.
Mhm.
Because the moment a child comes to us with a breakdown
Mhm.
or with a question, or even if it's trouble amongst friends,
Mhm.
as parents, we readily answer the solution to the child.
Mhm.
Our mind starts, my child is broken, my child is asking me for a question, hence it's my duty to immediately tell the child what to do right.
Mhm.
Now, active listening is different. Active listening is something where we sit down and let the child finish and rather connect more with the emotion the child is feeling than offer a solution to anything the child may be sharing with you. So, active listening is a lot about your body language. It's a lot about the uh, eye contact that you make. It's a lot about, it's a silent message to your child that I'm there, I'm present. And then, simple things like let the child finish the sentence, just nodding, tapping, being physically and mentally present when your child is speaking to you, letting them finish everything that they want to say,
Mhm.
and offer advice only if the child asks for it. And this automatically connects to empathy. A person who is empathetic can learn the skill of active listening. Now, active listening doesn't mean that you are brainwashing yourself with what the child said. It doesn't necessarily mean. It simply means hearing a new perspective to a situation. You may know about it, you may not know about it. You can take a call and a decision on what to do later. Like, don't jump into what to do. Just listen in. Just tune into your child's mind by listening to what the child has to say.
So, ma'am, what has changed in parenting style or within the modern day parents itself in last 3 decades, which you have seen?
Yeah, there has been a tremendous change from my own, the way I was, my parents' parenting style, and now the way my daughter is I've seen three parenting styles. So the first parenting style was my own, where since I came from the forces background, we would follow what we were told to do. There was a sense of discipline. There was a lot of time and space that we shared with each other in the physical space because there was no technology. There was only one television at home. We would do a lot of road trips. We would be traveling all over India, sitting in the car. But at the same time, we didn't have, the message was that we will be provided for everything that is needed to empower us in terms of studies, academics. But when it came to luxuries, well, that was a boundary, that it was a no-no, and we didn't even question about it. Then came my own parenting with my two daughters. So where, of course, we were on the brink of beginning to hear children speak their mind. We redefined boundaries. There was no particular set discipline at home they would follow. They created their own discipline about when they wanted to sleep, when they wanted to get up. So those were things that we could not govern. We had to let them be. And then as they got into college and they made their own choices of their life partners, I just started to become comfortable about talking to them about, opposite sex relationships. That's the time, right? So they were in college and they were already making their career choices, right? And now if I see my granddaughter, who is more than a year old, she's already going to a mother and toddler program because my daughter is working. She has a full-time job, but the mother toddler program is both of them, they go together and they engage in creative art activities, some speaking activities together. And the choices of food, choices of what she wants to wear, and many other things are given to her straight away when she is a year old. So you can say that the biggest change in the 3 decades has been the time and the age at which choices were given to children to decide what they wanted to do. Now, whereas in our case, 30 years ago, it was perhaps not till the time, certainly not till the time you started working or you got married. For my daughters, it was maybe they were making their choices when they were in middle school onwards. And for my granddaughter, she's making her choices at the age of 1. So that is a huge shift.
So, in this age of academic pressure and competitive environment, how can parents ensure their child mental well-being and self-esteem remain intact? Uh, okay.
Yeah, there was. So you want me to talk about mental well-being and self-esteem being intact in this day of
Academic.
competition?
Exactly.
The academic pressure and competition. Okay. So, it's a good question. And what parents need to understand and internalize that by pushing children to compete more and by comparing with each other, we cannot motivate them to do better. So we have to redefine our strategy of parenting. See, as a parent, our job role is to ensure that the child grows up to be the best version of himself or herself, right? So, how are we going to be more encouraging, more, uh, more motivated? The child will want to do their best.
Hmm.
It's proven by science that a strengths-based approach, moving from strength to strength to. So, what needs to be done is rather than ask questions like when the child comes back home with, even if it's simply a test paper, right? Instead of saying that, how much did your friend score? It's good to ask, well, okay, this was your score. How was it? How was the test? How much were you able to answer? Were there things that you didn't do very well. Talking it more about it from the point of view of your own child's journey. Keep the focus on your child. it's it the moment we are comparing your child with somebody else, there is a dent in the mental well-being and self-esteem of the child. It's
Exactly.
going to happen
And
because,
I feel
yeah.
parents today somewhat, even though they understand this, they unknowingly compare their child to someone else, saying ki, "Acha, you did this. What was the
Yes,
result?"
I lost you on that, Shaurya. Can you repeat that, please?
Okay, sorry. I feel what today happening is parents know that it is not good to compare their child with someone else, yet they unwillingly or unknowingly do the
Mm,
same thing again and again. So, in addition to that question, I would like to add, I'm really
correct.
sorry to abruptly in the between. How can a parent avoid comparing their child? Like, it is something which they unknowingly do. I had conversation with some parents
Mm,
also. So they said, I try to not do this, but some way or the other it happens and the child becomes very demotivated. So what solution do you propose
mm.
for the same thing also?
Yeah, it's like I said, that if you focus on your child's strength and you find joy in your own child's developmental journey, you must know that the no child is not a ready-made package that's ready to deliver and score brilliant. It won't happen. The child is growing. You have to work on your mind. You have to initially, okay, fine, unwittingly it happened. Okay, fine, sorry, it happened. I won't do it next time. Remind yourself again and again. And understand that the moment you're more encouraging and motivating to your child, then observe. Okay, fine, you feel that you've been doing it, it's a pattern that's been set, and then observe what had a better impact on your child's performance. If you were encouraging the child, making his journey or her journey your own, rather than comparing the scores, see, the moment you are output driven and not driven towards, not engaged in the journey of learning of your child, it will continuously keep on happening. And we must know that the child must meet first small, short goals, and then the long term goal will be achieved. So, everybody, and we must know that a child will work at his or her own pace, and we have to allow space for that. So we have to work a lot on our mind. And sometimes it's okay to say, sorry, well, I compared, I won't do it next time. The child will remind you himself or herself. So it is something we'll have to undo it. And if we want the mental well-being of the child, if we don't want to add to pressures which are adding to the mental health problems in your children, we have to do it. There is no choice.
Exactly. Thank you, ma'am, for this specific idea. Because when I told them that I was going to do a podcast with you in specific, so the person said,
Mm.
"This is the problem I am facing." Okay, please ask her, how
Uh,
can I control this? So I told him,
okay.
okay, I will do the same thing. It's just that if I will remember. So as you were answering that answer, it suddenly hit me, okay, I promised that person that I will ask this question. Moving with it, ma'am. We see that with increasing screen time and digital distraction, what strategies would you propose to parents for raising mindful and focused children? We see children very engaged in these shorts and reels, and it is proven that it is going to lower the attention span and focus span of a child or any adult in specific. How can it be like countered? How can it be handled very mindfully? Like I don't know the answer to it because I myself is somewhat culprit in this specific thing. So it would be better answered by you.
So I'm going to give you something, I mean, a real life example on this one. So what has started happening now is parents are communicating with their children and children with their parents through reels.
Exactly. This is
Sitting in
something like
separate rooms and you're sharing reels with each other. So, see, the way to build attention span is that engage your child in some kind of physical activity. If you're outdoor, you're engaged in a sport, you're not going to, that is one area where technology is not driving you. Being outdoor is the only way. helping children build some kind of interest towards physical activity, exercise. A sport is a great way to do that. Make it a part of the child's life right from the beginning. Because if we are going to be sitting at home, let us be honest as parents also. We are also addicted to technology
That's very true.
very much. So, and our attention span, well, is also patience, everything is getting compromised because of that. So, being outdoor and playing games is the only way out.
So, ma'am, moving forward, I would like to question something. Through your initiative, Parent Ki Pathshala, what was your motivation? First of all, I would like to know this.
So it's see, I have in the more than 30 years of experience. I have exposure and first-hand experience of working with children from
Mhm.
all walks of life, all developmental stages, starting from pre-K to class 12. Now, the one thing that helped children thrive in every situation was the emotional connection and support and understanding from parents. So, this was one thing which was a common thread all along. Now, what happens is that as this was, I started this YouTube channel just before COVID, I started it. So at that time, I wanted to, and hence I thought that was about 6 years ago. I got this idea that I was studying about the education model of Finland, and over there I saw that the parents get a lot of support. Parents get a lot of sessions from the government. Parents actually, there's something like a parenting school that happens there. So first I started this parents, teacher and student interaction in school in the physical space. And I found that there were amazing results. And that time I was working with a school for the underprivileged.
Mhm.
And I found immediately the performance of the children started to pick up. And then came COVID. So everything shifted online.
Again.
So I thought, let's continue with this initiative online because it's basically with the intention of supporting the parents and giving them a perspective. Sitting at home, parents can't have, because I have a perspective of the parent, perspective of the student, and perspective of the teacher. Now, if everything connect, all the dots can be connected, and then automatically children thrive. I wanted to support the parents, and I wanted to leave a positive digital footprint too. That's why I started this channel.
That was a lovely initiative. Since I told you in the morning itself, I was not aware that you had a YouTube channel. Since I started following you on LinkedIn and I was going through it, I saw you had a channel. I went to it. I saw all the videos of I not all the videos. I think I saw 8 or 10 videos of yours, and you explained everything very beautifully, ma'am. That is something I wanted to appreciate of yours. Second,
Thank you.
second part would be, what are some recurring questions which come up to you as a principal or as the organization or parent Pathshala and everything? What are some of the basic questions which come back to you again and again, and you want to address it and you plan to do the same in the future?
So yes, of course, about how can we step up the child's academic performance
Mhm.
is a question I've been answering for past 35 years. It comes up again and again. And the more recent ones are, of course, how to wean my child from mobile addiction, how to, how to, uh, how to help my child read better, how to build a reading habit in my child. How then another question that comes up is that my child doesn't talk to me. I mean, if I try and ask too many questions, then the child just wants to be in the room. They want to shut themselves in their room and they just don't want to talk to us. So how can I talk to my child? And technology related questions, a lot of them. And then, of course, questions about one concern that parents always, every parent dreams that his child should be excellent at public speaking. The child should be on the stage getting medals all the time. So they want to know that how can the child be on stage all the time. So even if they're on the stage, every parent wants my child should be in the lead role. So they'll come and ask that why was my child not selected for this dance or this in theater? Why was my child not the protagonist? So these are some common questions which come to me very often.
In this specific case, like two specific question interested me the most. First one would be that my child locks him or herself in the room and avoids talking to me. So, what are some
Hmm.
recommendations which you would like to put in that specific case?
See, if your child is locking himself or herself in the room, you need to figure out the reason for it.
Hmm.
Is the reason you, or is the reason something about the child? Now, are you a parent who just walks into the child's room the moment they're teenagers? They do need privacy. Do you knock at the door, or you just simply barge in?
Hmm.
Right? So first look at yourself. Begin with yourself. Are you always extremely interfering with your child and wanting to know every minute detail of your teenagers growing up? It's not going to happen. Remember when we were teenagers ourselves, there were secrets, right? So are you allowing your child space for his own personal exploration? Or are you dictating everything to your child? That is step number one. So once you figure that out, and I think it's not easy for parents to know that what we are doing wrong, the moment we are guilty, we go on a downward spiral.
Hmm.
So it should come from a mindset that, no, I need to figure this out. So let me first know myself. You can ask others, you can talk to people, you can go to school and talk to the teachers, you can talk to the principal, you can talk to the counseling cell to know, is this behavior of the child only limited to being at home like this, or the child is in similar kind of behavior the child shows in school or amongst his friends, right? So once you know that, then you will do better. Now, the second thing is, now if the child is locking himself or herself in the room, is it a bigger problem? Is the child into something which is not safe for him? Is he being bullied? Is he depressed? Is the child, cyberbullying is a very big thing these days. There is
Exactly.
also bullying in schools related to, there's a lot of body shaming that happens amongst children these days because they have to be very insta aesthetic,
This is
right? So, uh, so figure out, yeah, it's it's the truth. It's the truth, and it's there. I mean, changing another a very good idea to see if for parents, if they want to know their if the child is not comfortable with their body images, is the child changing the DP again and again? You can learn a lot about your child from the child's DP. You can.
interesting. This is something.
So once you know that, yeah, yeah. So you can know a lot from there. So once you know that, then of course you have to reach out to the child. You have to talk to the child. You have to, and talk to the child means sometimes you don't have to directly ask the issue. You can engage in activities which are fun to do together. In fun moments, the children begin to share.
Mhm.
So there has to be some common activity or some hobby that you pursue together as a family. And slowly then children are looking for emotional support. Even their locking up in the room is a cry for attention and cry for emotional support. So you have to open those windows and reach out to your child.
That's something great, ma'am. And the second question which interested me, you told that there are parents who constantly come and say that my child needs to be the protagonist and everything, they need to be on stage. So, how do you handle parents like them? Like, what is your strategy for the leaders who are seeing it? I want to know the answers.
Okay. So, yeah, you first thing is you have to appreciate the
Hmm.
fact that the parent came and expressed a
Hmm.
desire to see their child as a protagonist. It means they have high aspirations of the child. So it's great. It's very good. It's good to have, and that means they have high expectation of their child. So that speaks volumes about the parent wanting his child's being engaged in the child's journey. So that's a
Hmm.
good thing. So you have to sit down and you have to listen to them and don't cut them off. Let them express from where they're coming from. And then find out from them that which position where do you want to see your child? Okay, you want the child to be a protagonist in the school annual play, right? So, what are the qualities required for great acting or for being good at theater? So, talk about those qualities or talk about the skills that are required. And then help the parent know that, well, the annual play is something that is chosen on the basis of the talent of the child. However, we can build on these skills and we'll provide a chance to your child. See, we have multiple opportunities within school, like we have a morning assembly every day. We have house hour every day. We have a annual athletic meet. Now, there are many opportunities within the school framework where there is 100% participation. So, so help the parent understand that from those 100% participation spaces, the child's interest will grow. And then also explain to the parent that we must move with the ability and the aptitude and the interest of the child. And how can they support the child at home to work towards building of that skill? And tell them that it's a journey. It takes time. It takes time. So there has to be a conversation
Hmm.
again with the parent, giving them
That's
some specific, and it has to be ongoing. It's not a one-time meeting answer. You have to call them back again and talk to them.
it is somehow a very diplomatic way to deal with them, and plus it gives them an access where they can know the progress of their child and understand what needs to be done. That was very great, Vandana ma'am.
Hmm.
Ma'am, moving forward, now we have talked enough about the parenting skills and your achievements. Let's talk about you now. So, ma'am, when we talk about
Okay.
Miss Vandana Saxena, so how was your childhood? Like, how did you grow up? What was your background and everything?
Okay. So my background was I come from a forces background. My father's from the Air Force.
Hmm.
So we used to be positioned in different stations, Air Force stations, you know. I was born in Delhi, and then from Delhi we went to Srinagar. So that's where I was 3 to 5 years. Then I went to Halwara, which is a small Air Force base near Ludhiana. Then we went to Nagpur. Then we went to Kalai Kunda. So I have traveled all across India during my childhood. And our mother was a teacher then. So she would be teaching. But we all ate lunch together. We were home for lunch. We woke up in the morning and we had help at home, but we were used to doing things by ourselves. There was a sense of discipline at our place, being from the forces background. There were meal times with no TV. Evening was playtime with friends, so we had to be out of the house. And before the sundown, we came back home and we got to see TV a little bit. Then a meal time, some reading time, study time. So there was the schedule that we followed. But I was the not so disciplined kid among the three siblings. Like I found it very difficult to follow the routines. I have two brothers, and my older brother in particular was very disciplined and he followed systems. But for me to follow this discipline was not that easy. So I would find within the discipline spaces, I would find, ways of being a rebel. Like in the afternoon, when my mother would go to sleep, I would go out in the sun and I would pluck bear and I would I would eat it with salt and pepper. And my throat used to get caught then. because the sour taste of the beer didn't suit me, but I would come back next day, I had a sore throat. I was out. I was climbing trees. I was dancing. That's what I used to do. But as we grew up and we came to Delhi, and then from class 9th to 12th, I worked very hard towards my academics. We were in Delhi at that time. So there was, I used to do extra tuition for competitive exams. I was in school. I was always interested in exercise. My mother actually motivated me towards that. So though I didn't play a sport, but I was into some kind of exercising. It could be aerobics. I didn't take to gym very much. And over a period of time, I grew into doing yoga. I was a foodie. I used to love potato chips. And I was, in my teenage, I was quite plump because I used
Nobody
to eat a lot of.
Exactly. Nobody would believe that in specific if I tell them. Like initially when I saw your photo and everything, I thought, okay, she might be 40 or 50 around it might be. And as I saw the real age of yours, I was surprised. Okay, she is very healthy, to be frank. I wanted to ask how you have remained so healthy throughout these era of pollution and this unhygiene, sorry, junk food and everything. So I got the answer from your story itself.
Yeah. So it's like I've been into like I have been engaged with yoga for a long time.
Mhm.
And from yoga, I've grown towards. I do follow a well-being routine for myself consciously. It has grown to be a part of my life. I keep changing it, but yoga, meditation, walks, and over a period of time later in age, I understood what it was to eat in moderation. Not as a child, I didn't know. So I consciously, just naturally, it's part of my genes, perhaps. My mother taught me well. I have to give her the credit for that. So I do make conscious, healthy decisions towards meals. And I've realized that being healthy is very important for me because I want to do a lot of things. I want to be, you know, high energy. I am basically a very high energy person. I want to be cheerful. I want to be happy. I want to have fun. I want to go out to party with my friends. I want to be there with little Myra, who's my granddaughter. I want to be running around with her. So I need energy for that. And as we grow older, we have to nurture our body even more to be that energy that we need of ourselves. And I need very high energy for myself. So I've tried to follow those systems and, a routine in my life which keeps me that way. I keep a track of my energy, mental and physical, both consciously. And if something is tiring me out too much, I'd rather not do it, either mentally or physically.
I hope the podcast isn't tiring you at all, or is it
Oh, no, not at all.
okay? And ma'am, how did you fall in love with this specific job site of teaching? It is something unique, as initially we had a conversation, and to be frank, I have seen my teachers also, and
Mm,
I have seen them complaining somehow that it was not my first decision. My first decision was, for example, take UPSC. Then I
mm,
somehow landed here, and it is a job of वो मजबूरी का काम है. They use this
mm,
word very commonly. And you initially told no, you chose it by choice. So what was the
mm.
reason of choosing teaching as a profession?
See, I think at that age when I chose teaching as a profession, I didn't understand. But now I know that I realize the value that teaching has is in terms of we have the capacity to mold and shape personalities. It's to empower people, and it was something that motivating people or being motivating myself was something that as I shared with you, that I need high energy from myself, and you gain high energy from being motivated and being able to motivate others. And I think teaching was one profession which, like I said, it came naturally to me. Maybe I inherited it from my mother. And it just revealed to me. I took it up, and I was uh, I was like in school. I was a good student, and up to 12th, I tried to take the medical exams. I didn't clear that. Then I went through my graduation, and the moment I picked B.Ed, I was like the top of the tops at Delhi University, and there was no stopping me. When I went to class, I felt really good. When I went to spoke to the children, and the reaction and response I got from them was amazing. And I was a very different teacher right from the beginning. I didn't follow any traditional paths that were set or given to me. I discovered my own, and I think I teaching was self-revealing to me, and it was my own the discovery of my own personality. So if you say that when did I fall in love with it, probably I grew up with it, because I don't remember that one. But yes, from being a teacher to a principal, when I got this opportunity, and I got an opportunity to work with the children from the underprivileged section, that's when I realized that I just love this profession. Look what we can do with the children here. That's when I realized that education or teaching is really a noble profession. It's one where we can actually experience that it's in giving that we receive.
Okay. So, ma'am, now a question which all the
Mm.
children would love to ask from their principal.
Yeah,
Why
sure.
why are principals so strict? Like, this is the very common question which comes up. I see every school principal like that military personnel going away and children hiding from her or him whenever they see it. Why it is like that in specific?
Actually, you know what? I would answer that question from my own childhood, how I saw my principal, and I
Hmm.
will connect it to being a principal now. So when the children are in the classroom, the principal is not seen doing any work to the children. Children see the classroom, the teacher comes, the teacher teaches them. So for children, only teachers are working, right? Because they don't see the principal sitting in the office. And nowadays we have laptops. Earlier there was no laptops. So children don't know, they have no idea about what the principal does behind the scenes, right? Everything is done for them, it's ready, the infrastructure is clean, the didis and bhaiyas are all around them, the washrooms are safe for them, the teachers are teaching in the classroom, and they have a direct connect with teachers. So they don't have a direct connection with the principal. So hence they feel that, well, she's just sitting in her office. The office of a principal is always more luxurious. It looks very comfortable. So she's sitting there, and what is she doing? Can't she even smile? I mean, what is for her to be looking so strict? And the persona grows to being looking very strict, because we are at the helm of affairs, we are multitasking, we are creating policies, we are aware of the pulse of the school. So our mind is an interface, a single interface where information from many quarters is being processed, right? So our reactions come from that information that's in our head, within school and outside school also. And as a result of that, it's something that comes automatically to us.
Understood.
And we are actually reaching out to the children through the teachers and everybody else. So that's why principals tend to look strict. And yes, the sense of responsibility. We feel responsible for everybody out there. That in itself, perhaps that's another reason.
Right?
We are a parent to there are 2,100 children in my school right now. So 2,100 children, 4,200 parents, there are 250 Group D staff, 150, so like 400 if you count the numbers, there are 3,000 people you're responsible for. So maybe that gives us this persona because we are taking decisions every minute of the day. So we have to keep that mind space.
Mm-hmm. So I think the question was very well answered, and I hope nobody is going to be like this. Ki nahi, मेरी principal is very dangerous wala thing. Now they understand the responsibility of yours, ma'am. Now the second
Yeah.
part. During your educational journey, were you a first bencher or the last bencher?
First venture always.
Okay.
Always first bencher.
Why so in specific first?
Always. I don't know that one. Like I said, like I was very quick with, I had to be very quick with everything.
Hmm.
So it wasn't as if I wanted to leave others behind. I just naturally went and sat on the first bench. Now
Mm-hmm.
I know I missed out a lot because, and there's a lot that happens at the back bench, and there's a lot of, see, now I'm able to understand and see things in a different way. At that time, I had to be on the front bench, and I was made to sit on the front bench if I wanted to sit behind. I was the very, very nerdy, very, very, doing the right thing at the right time kind of a person. So I had to perhaps be a role model for others, and maybe the teachers put me in front to say that देखो वो क्या कर रही है, वैसा वाला, maybe.
So now, as we move to the end of the podcast now, what is the message, one message you would like to give to your fellow educators, and a second message to the students who are seeing the podcast?
So yeah, for fellow educators, the message is very clear. It's my principle, my philosophy. Inspire and be inspired. Work in the space of education with the power of inspiration. Because education is expansion. Education is much beyond what we see and do. And for that expansion, to be able to experience that expansion, inspiration is the only way. So allow your mind to be influenced by people, and automatically you will also continue to inspire others if you are in that space of being inspired. And inspiration in school leaders comes through the way we speak, our body language, the policies that we set. It also allows us to have trust and faith in the teams that we work for. And for children, for children, it's like the sky is the limit. Sky is the limit for your growth. And you're living in a time and an era where you can do anything, and age no longer defines what you need to do. So go for it. Go for it. But stay grounded in values. That'll help you. Your flight will be much higher if you're grounded in values. That's for children.
That was the two best messages I have heard in this specific podcast. For I think I have taken how many, 10 or 20s till now. Some of them are not till now published,
Okay.
and this is one of the best messages which I have heard.
Mhm.
So, ma'am, thank you again for giving us some time of your busy routine for this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to have a second one with you someday. And till then, Jai Hind.
Surely.